'Cause I put my ear lip.
Can you hear better?
Yeah, I can hear fine.
All right.
Thank you. Well, good morning. We are glad to have Paul Hewitt here with us this morning to talk about his experience on writing books and teaching physics all over the world, because I could attend to one of his courses in Mexico. So it's, what can I say? And we are very glad to have you here. And Paul is going to talk about a topic during 15-20 minutes, and then we will have time to ask him questions or comments. Jose Luis, is it the translation option available for all teachers?
Lo estoy viendo en mi pantalla, pero no aparece en la transmisión. Estoy acá. Yo creo que vas a tener que seguirnos apoyando con eso.
No sé, los profesores, cómo manejarlo. Bueno, dejamos que Paul hable en inglés y después, si hay algunos comentarios que necesiten apoyo, aquí pues entre todos ayudamos, ¿ok? So, Paul, welcome, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Giving me a chance to talk about what I love talking about.
Okay.
Am I talking to a group of teachers right now?
Yeah.
And they're teachers in the university that are preparing some people to become teachers as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I like to think I'm talking to a lot of very lucky people.
Yes.
Why? Because you are in a position, let me put it this way. When you live your life, at the end of your life, you want to say that your life meant something. And to say it means something is you want to be able to say, not how many goodies you got, or how nice you were, and all of your life. You want to be able to say what you did for other people. What did you give to other people to make them better people than they would have been if you weren't there? And you know what profession is best for that? Medicine, doctors, nurses. But there's another one, teaching. And anyone who is a teacher, and a teacher of physics, it's got to be a happy person, because that person is in a position to help struggling students. When I first started teaching, and what I talk about my experience I think is general enough that would be the same in Latin America. But when I started teaching, I was teaching a subject that was very difficult to learn. But I loved it. I loved it because I saw it differently than other people. And what I wanted to do was to make it so clear that other people could love it too. And kind of that way. If I like something, I want you to like it too. A lot of us are that way. And being a teacher, my God, is the best of all. Because you can lift people. You can make them feel better about themselves. What other career can you do that? These kids come into our classes. They're not formed. They're still becoming who they're going to be. They're children. And the teachers that they meet will have a lot to do with who they become in life. And to be a teacher and to be in that position, it's a pivotal position. You are blessed because you can really help these kids get to feel better about themselves. How? By nurturing them along so they will understand something they thought they couldn't. And that is wonderful. You go to the beach and someone's throwing some rocks on the water. They got choo, 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 they're making them skip. And someone tells you, oh, I saw a guy last year, he got 9 skips. He threw that rock and it went 9 times before it sunk. And that guy was good. And someone hands you a rock and you throw it. You get 10 skips. How do you feel about yourself? You'll go back and you'll tell people, you know, I had a good time at the beach today because when I went to the beach, I felt good about myself. There's so many reminders where I screw up all the time and I'm all feeling down. But damn it, when I went to the beach today, I had a good time. And I want your students to say the same thing about sitting in your class. You know, I went to school today and man, there's so much we have to get. I don't know, information overload, I can't keep up with it. But when I sat in my physics class, I felt really good. I felt really good. You know, I'm going to amount to something. There's a lot of people smarter than me, and there's some dumber than me. I'm in the middle, whatever, it doesn't matter. But that physics class teaches me the best that I can be. And when that happens, I feel good. So I really, really love my teacher. My teacher doesn't know how much that is doing for me. But that's the nice thing about a physics teacher, because everyone expects the worst. You're teaching the killer course, the course that pushes people down, that only a few, worthy people pass, and most don't. No. That's not your course. That wasn't my course, and I hope that's not your course, because that's a terrible way to spend your life. What do you think about that? Now, one thing you might want to do, I found that when I understood an idea, I felt good, especially if the idea is misunderstood by everyone else. I can give you right now. You could tell your students, I'm going to give you an idea today that your parents don't know, the principal of the school doesn't know, the president of Mexico doesn't know. Almost nobody knows. But I'm going to tell you so you'll know. And I'll tell you who should know, and that's a car mechanic. People who work on cars. And the question is this. First of all, I got to say this. You all realize that to get something moving, there got to be a force, right? And this is physics. You push, there's a result. If the car is free to move, it'll move. Okay, so here's my question. What pushes a car along the highway? What force acts on the car to push it along the highway? Very few people know. And I've made a next time question about it. Let me show you. Can you see the wavy road? Can you see the bricks on the road?
Yes.
Good. Hang on. This is a picture my wife took of the road where we live. You see the bricks are all wavy?
Yes.
The bricks are pushed out of place because something forced on the bricks. There was a force on the bricks. And you know what? If you exert a force on a brick, you can't do it unless the brick exerts an equal and opposite force on you. Now, all your students can say, for every action is an opposite equal reaction. Big deal. That's the beginning of knowledge. But when you apply it to this, say, hey, look, I wonder what forces a car along the road. That's something that I don't think many people can answer. Check your neighbor right now and see if your neighbor knows the answer. Now, go ahead. We're in school. Don't look at me, look at each other. Are you in a position where you can talk with one another? Oh,
Maybe
you're not sitting in the
no,
class.
no. We are connected in different places.
Okay. Well, maybe you get the idea. Can I tell you the answer? I, I can show you the answer right up the top of the page. Look at the wheel. Is it in focus? The wheel turns. When the wheel turns, it pushes against the brick. Can a wheel push against the brick? Only if what?
The brake pushes the tire.
That rolling wheel, that wheel pushing against the brick, has to have an equal and opposite force pushing on it. And that is the force that pushes cars along the road. So someone say, why are they doing all that highway road work? I say, because the highway is what pushes cars along. Now, when you say that, people say, what are you talking about? I'm talking about some physics. And what I want you to do in my classes, I want you to learn a lot of physics like that too, because it's darned interesting. You guys being a physics teachers, what subject is more interesting to teach than physics? How about keyboarding? How about accounting? How about fashion design? Physics is packed full of interesting things because physics is really the rules of nature. What is more relevant than understanding the rules of nature? What's more relevant? I want to hear it. If there's other things more relevant, fine. But one of the things that's most relevant to a student learning, getting an education, is learning the rules by which the world works. And to be ignorant of those rules is to be like a primitive person, doing all these superstitious type things to make things come out right. We live in a civilized world because we follow the rules, and all the physicists and all the engineers and all the people that are making for a better world are following rules. There are rules in nature. And the basic rules of nature is what physics is all about, the laws of physics. So hooray to you who are awakening people to the very laws by which everything occurs around them. To be a physics teacher is to be the highest that you could be. Congratulations. Now, pass that along to your students and see if you can get some of that also. How much time would I take? I got 5 minutes. I want to talk about one time. One time I'm teaching and the blackboards are all wet. And I couldn't start my class because I had to wait till the blackboard's dry. So to kill time, I said to the students, anyone know any jokes? Nobody said anything. I said, I know why you don't know any jokes, because when you hear a joke, you don't tell it, you forget it. Every one of you says, oh, I got all these jokes. The jokes you will remember will be the jokes you tell. So if you want to be a good joke teller, when you hear a joke, tell it to as many people as you can. Then it's part of you. And if every time you need to tell a joke, whoop, it pops right out because it's a part of you, because you've talked about it. Hey, I'm teaching a physics class. I want you guys to know some physics. Maybe what I ought to do is get you talking about it. And that's when Check Your Neighbor was born with me. It's an idea that just elevated my courses way up. Instead of me doing all the talking, I get them doing the talking. Check your neighbor to see if this, that. And how do you get all the people talking? And if I have an auditorium with 300 people in it, how can I get them all talking? A lot of people will just sort of like this, not say anything. It took about 3 years before I found the answer to how to get everyone talking. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
All right, let me tell you what it is. This one works. This one works. I can get every one of those people talking with this. I say this. I noticed that there's some people up there that aren't checking their neighbors. I wonder if there's a reason for that. And I can think of one. Maybe the person sitting next to you doesn't like you. Remember, mom and dad told you when you were a kid that not everybody's going to like you. Well, that's probably the person sitting next to you right now. Now let's try again. What will happen to the balloon if I push it in? Will it get bigger? Da, 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 da. Check your neighbor. And when I do that, you know what? They're all talking. I shamed them into it. And that's a little teaching tip that I can't put in a textbook, but I can tell you at this conference. That's where you can get everyone participating. And you become like an orchestra leader. You're orchestra leaders. I don't know if they can play all the instruments. They might not be able to play hardly any, but they can sure get that place coming into a community. And that's what you can do in your classrooms. And you can do that by just orchestrating the questions that they will be answering. Yum. Now, something I did is I wrote my memoir. And my memoir is the result of this. One time at City College, this was way back in the 60s, they said that Bertrand Russell was going to be showing a little short film in down at the other building. I went down there. And I walked into the room to see what's going on. And all these people are coming out. And one student says to someone coming out, "What was that all about? So many people in there." And he said, "Oh, just an old man talking." Just an old man talking? That's Bertrand Russell. When I become old, will I be an old man talking? And they don't listen to me as much as if I'm young and jazzy and all that? Will I become an old man talking? Here's the title of my book. Just Another Old Man Talking. And I've got in this book, I hope you can get it. It's just been published. I signed a contract 3 days ago with World Scientific in, what's that country with no crime? Singapore. And Singapore is going to publish it. And what it is, it's more than a story of my life. It's a story of, and that's not a story, it's how to teach. And all my little teaching tips, there's so many in here. And so it might be useful to you. How are we doing on the time?
We're okay. You can talk a little bit longer.
A little longer, okay. Okay, here's another thing I can say to you too. You got a classroom of 100 students. Who's the smartest one in the class? Some students are smarter than others. But who's the smartest person in the class? If you got 100 people, it's probably not you. Because those kids, they got a whole range of IQs. And some of them have a higher IQ than you do. So accept that. Celebrate that. You don't have to be smarter than other people. All you have to do is be the best that you can be. That's an Army slogan, and I think it fits. Never mind who's better and who's worse. How are you doing? You become the best that you can be, and you take a good right physics class, and you can become better than you even can think. So yum to that. And so be a little easy with those kids when you realize some of them will be a teacher like you are someday, even better. So nurture that hope, nurture it, put water on it, sprinkle it, make it grow, because it's a good thing. You don't have to be the smartest, but what you have to be is the most knowledgeable. No one in that class should know more physics than you do. That would be a fluke. So you're the most knowledgeable person. That's what you're paid for. You're paid to give your knowledge to them in such a way that they are a little bit better feeling about themselves than before they got the knowledge. If you can do that and make education that, wonderful. Now, I know in the old days, a lot of education in other countries is by memorization. Every book, every exam I ever gave was open book, open notes. no memorization. Memorization is the first step in knowledge, but it doesn't stop there. You got to keep going. So I hope you'll use more next time questions in your classroom. They're in a book like this. I think they were translated into Spanish some years ago, but you know, and we continue to make mistakes all the time. Let me show you a mistake I made. This is how I used to talk about satellite motion. See, the rocket's pushed up and then it goes sideways. I've been wrong about that all my career. Wrong. Bad physics. I got it corrected now in this book. This book is my latest. And it's this way. This is what happens. It goes up at an angle. It doesn't go straight up forever. It goes straight at the very beginning, but not for very long. And this book right now is my latest book, and it's available by Conceptual Academy. Oh, by the way, I used to do videos. You ever see these? These sold for $1,000 for a set of 10. Today, they're free. They're free. All you got to do is put conceptual.academy and boop, all my videos are right there. You can download them free of charge. That's my gift to the physics people. All the videos I made. Besides, a lot of what I got stuff's on YouTube anyway. But make sure you get these things here. You don't have to pay for them anymore. Make sure you put the dot in the middle, and there's no comma. And there's all the videos, 34 of them. Download them, use them for your classes. Freebies. Yum, yum.
Well, I think it's a good time to make a pause and let teachers to ask you or make comments. So anyone
I like to
who
get
wants,
questions.
okay, you just can open your micro and talk, please.
Yep. Don't be shy.
Or you can write your questions on the chat, either in English or Spanish.
Who is going to be the first to talk to Hewitt?
Abby.
Whoever's
And
first,
this-
the gold star right in the forehead, right here.
Abby, you can do it in Spanish.
Oh, no español.
I will try to translate it for you.
Okay. Oh, yum, yum.
Bueno, de mi parte solamente decirle que lo admiro mucho, que me encanta su libro de texto para la enseñanza, cómo aborda el conocimiento a través de los conceptos sin llegar al ¿cómo se dice? Al coco de los estudiantes, ¿no? De las ecuaciones. Me encanta, me encanta, me encanta, me encanta. Lo admiro mucho. Muchas gracias.
I think she tells you, Paul, that she loves your books and she admires you very much. And thank you for writing these kind of books that makes students to love something that it's very hard.
Well, you are entirely welcome. And help yourself to those videos too. Now, they're in English, but a lot of your students are learning English as well, so it might be useful. But they're all there. Please use it. And I just feel good that my love for physics has been spread so far. I never expected that. And it's just gratifying. This is only the third time I've did a Zoom thing. And I have a cane. I walk around now. I can't run in it. I can't jump out of a car. And 92 years old, you're a little slower, but I sure have the passion for spreading the rules of nature. So thank you.
Well, we have a question from Christian on the chat. What would you recommend to engage students on physics learning on this day that all the distraction competing with learning? I think it's, Christian means all the social media, all kind of other things to do than learning physics.
Yeah. Okay. I suffered from information overload as a student. It came in faster than I could handle it. That's why I have a C average. I had very difficult time getting into graduate school with a C average because I started late and I couldn't handle it. Now there's even more information overload. So how to deal with it? Oh, I don't have an answer, but my message is this: get the students talking among themselves about ideas. Now that you can do at any time. If you get them talking, for example, when you put a next time question on the board, you know, something like this, and you can post it up there, and they're wanting to know the answer. They come here, what's the answer? Say, well, it's going to be posted next week. Well, can you tell me now? No, talk to your friends. And they say, well, I already did talk to my friends. Well, get some new friends. Remember, Mommy and Daddy told you who your friends are is very important. Get some new ones. But get the students talking about physics. If they're only listening, it comes right in and just goes right out. It's nice, but it's not teaching. You want to teach, and to teach is to get them to articulate what they're learning. Not memorize, but articulate it, like the little one about the car being pushed by the highway. That's yum. And get them talking about that, and getting them don't try information overload. There's so much information. My God, all you can do is pick a few. It's like cherry picking. Pick some good ideas in your classes and get the kids so that they like it. How do they like it? They like what they thought they couldn't understand. And a physics teacher is rich with that, because you talk about insecure students, they would be more insecure walking into a physics classroom than any other. And if you're in charge, Santa Claus has come to town, because you're going to make these kids learn some of these rules, not all of them, no information overload, and get them talking about it and them teaching each other. Then you are earning your salary.
Well, I have a question. You were talking about physics and teaching physics with some passion. Do you think you need to show this same passion in your class? Passion is what students can be engaged to.
You might not elicit the same passion in the person who's listening to you, but if they see you have it, then you're worth listening to. If you don't have passion for what you're delivering, how valuable is it to someone who's being inundated with information all the time? Mm-hmm. You know, Richard Feynman is my hero. And I talk about in my book here, my memoir, about how I was at a physics meeting with Feynman, and we were talking about what kind of physics should be taught in high school. And Feynman says, no physics should be taught in high school. Leave it until college, because the people in high school that are teaching it don't have and this is the word he used, passion. The people teaching the physics in the high school do not have a passion for it. And they're going to make all little mistakes, and it'd be better let the students wait until they get to the college. They're the teachers more likely to be passionate about the subject that he loves because he's got an advanced degree in it. Well, so passion is important. But you get the passion. You can hope they'll have some of it, but everyone grows their own way. but you will be doing a favor if you make them feel a little bit better about themselves than they gave themselves credit for. That's the position that you are in that is yum. Take advantage of it.
Okay. And let me tell you that I use regular this phrase that you use. If your neighbor can answer the question to you, find another friend, find another neighbor. And students just love that comment. I used to tell them, ask the person beside you, and if not, it is time to find new friends. And they just love that.
You're a person, and they might look at you like a god. Well, okay, some people become a physics teacher so that they can be seen as a god. They need it. Ooh, whoa. Well, there's all kinds of us, okay? But yeah, we're people. But don't forget those students. The big thing that's important with your students, if you want to succeed, is you have to love them. Some people can't do that. I found it easy. I love my students. By that, I mean, they're like my family, like I love my family, my cousins, my nephews. Those people in the classroom, make that classroom a family affair, and love them, and they'll love you back. Now, if they know you love them, they're going to learn from you. If they dislike you, someone ought to push you aside, because it's like a love affair. And if you can get them to love you and they love you, you love them, what a nice way to make a living.
Okay. Well,
How blessed a physics teacher is. They're in a beautiful position. Don't blow it.
let me ask Jose Luis. Jose Luis, how's the people connected to YouTube doing in Spanish? Jose Luis, ¿hay preguntas en YouTube?
No.
¿Comentarios?
No, todavía no.
Okay. Abby, are you ready to ask your question?
Okay, say it again, please.
I'm asking if there are more questions or comments.
Oh, I see. Yeah. When are you guys going to invite me to come down? I haven't been in Mexico City for a long time. And I know it's growing very fast. And there's so many Americans there, they're ruining your economy. So I don't want to be one of them. But I've had some nice times in Mexico City. But it's been a long time.
If you can travel, we can invite you.
If any of you guys come up to Florida, if you come up to Florida, check me out and we'll have a coffee downstairs. I live in St. Petersburg. So sometimes I go to San Francisco to meet Lil's family, and over there I'll take you to Cafe Greco and get a coffee. I like to talk to people who are teaching. I like to talk to my people. So I'm doing it now on this new technology, but it's even nicer when we can sit in a chair and chat with each other. So I'm open for that. So if you're ever in America, come on, visit me and my wife Lil.
Okay. So, is there any more questions?
Hay una pregunta en el chat.
Sorry. There's another question. Do you think we need to pay more attention to teaching physics teachers?
They're very important. They're very important because when people do well in physics, students I'm talking about, yum, because they don't expect to. Now, you're always going to get those that can do everything. That's wonderful. I always felt when I was teaching, I was not trying to increase the number of physicists because it's like it takes some milk from a cow. The cream will come to the top. The really bright ones, they'll come up there. I was always concerned with the struggling student, those who are struggling to make something of themselves, to be able to learn something. And the education just isn't an obstacle course, something to get through. I wanted them to get into it. And if you get a chance to read my memoir, you'll read a lot about that. My opening day of class, for example, when I gave the final exam out, I passed out the final exam. They said, is this really the final exam? Yes. And I went around and closed the door and I said, I'm on your side. He's on our side. Wow. And it was a ball ever since. And I did give them the final exam. I had 15 questions. And they said, do we have to answer all 15? No. You'll only have to answer 4. I said, which 4? Oh, we'll decide that on exam day. But they knew that I was wanting them to succeed. And so you can do that too. Yeah. Another thing too is demonstrations. When you do your demos, please don't make some beautiful articulated explanations. Don't do that. Have them do that and guide them through. You're doing the demos, take a little time. But get them, why do you suppose this happened? Da, 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 da. How does this connect to that? Da, 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 da. You ask questions. They give answers and they learn. That's you teaching, not talk. I'm an old man talking here. You're getting them to talk. The more you can get the students to talk what they're doing, what you want them to talk about, the more learning will take place in your classroom. And at the end of the semester, you can feel good because they have profited by being in your class. And if you're lucky, you'll see what happens to me. I'm all the time getting notes from people on email about how much they love my course. The last one was someone 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Said, you changed my life. He didn't become a physicist. He became something else. But I lifted him and gave him confidence. And that's a nice life to have. So those of you who are already in the trenches, you're already in the university, and you're teaching a physics course, you are lucky people, and relish it, relish it. Nothing, I can see nothing better. For me, nothing better than be a teacher.
Well, we have more questions on the chat. What do you think about exams as one of the most common tools to evaluate students? I think you've already commented about that, but what do you think of the traditional exams?
All right. No tricky questions. No tricky questions. Be on their side. And another thing too, you give an exam to your class, if you know there are students in that class who would get an A, and if it's a big class, it's going to be some people, make sure that the top students get them all right. That's the definition of a fair exam. Now, when I went to school, I remember a guy, I despise him. I love him as a person, but as a teacher, horrible. He'd give an exam and the top score would be 50%, 50. And the rest of us all down on the noise level. It was so depressing. He says, oh, don't worry, I'll curve the grade at the end. No good, no good. You give an exam where the best students will get them all right. And if everyone gets them all right, then the exam's not an exam. You got to be a little bit tighter than that. But make sure your best students get a perfect score, and you won't have to curve any grades at the end.
Here's another question. Which were your thoughts on writing physics in a different way to improve learning? Cristian, ¿sí dije bien tu pregunta?
¿Qué piensa acerca de escribir física en una
There's as many ways to teach good physics as there are teachers. One size doesn't fit all. What will work for one teacher may not work for another. I had, for example, in my experience, there was a fellow that tried to imitate me and be like me. It didn't work for him. It didn't work. We all have different personalities. We all have different ways. We can pick up little tips from each other, but we don't try to copycat another person. You are you, and you become the best you can be, not who you could be someone different. Don't try to be someone different. Don't try to be someone else. Be yourself and be the best that you. I really love that. It's an Army slogan. I served 2 years in the Army to get the GI Bill. That's why I went to school. I went to school at age 28. I was 10 years older than all the other students. My God, they're racing right through, leaving me behind. But I did it. So be the best you can be. That's my motto. Don't try to be someone else. You're not someone else. Be you.
I think I didn't read the complete question. What do you think a good physics book writer should take into account?
What is it? You get that there?
What?
Say again?
What do you think a good physics book writer should take into account?
I think that the complete question is, which were your thoughts on writing physics in a different way to improve learning?
And what do you
And
think
the second part, yes. Go on.
What do you think a good physics book writer should take into account?
Gee, I'm sorry. I'm getting too old.
No,
I
don't worry.
What's the word I'm missing?
Maybe
Un consejo
Christian,
para escribir, para la gente que
Maybe what?
Christian Casilla made that question, and I'm asking him to
Oh, yeah,
to try
yeah,
to.
yeah. Please bear with me. Be patient. I'm a little bit old.
Good afternoon for all. So what I'm trying to ask is that as I wrote on your biography, and in your books, you changed the way that physics was writing for student learning. So in which place, what do you inspire to get writing physics books in another way, or be more friendly to students?
Maybe we can rephrase that. What advice do you give to write a good physics textbook?
Yeah, let
Thank
me
you.
tell you, my physics text is a big accident. I was using, when I was teaching, I was telling the students, okay, never mind that derivation where it says the satellite moves because you take the gravitational force equated to the centripetal force and solve for V and you got it. I didn't like that. I said, no, the satellites are up there because it's like you drive your car off a cliff. When you drive your car off a cliff, don't you feel weightless as you're falling down? Well, this is the astronauts are doing all that. I wrote it differently, the way I saw it. And I wrote it for my class only. It was not to be published. It was not even for other teachers to look at. I very selfishly wrote up my own notes so that I could teach a class without having this for someone else's book. And I did that. And it turns out I was teaching 1,000 students a semester then. All these students would come in my class because the counselor was saying he's going to make you fall in love with knowledge.
Okay.
If you're going to come to City College, we like people that make you love knowledge. Take Hewitt's class. He's going to make you love knowledge. So my class had 1,000 students. So I wrote the notes up, but only for my class, not for anyone else to look at. And so they're very personal. And I did not think that anyone would publish it. And the reps came by and they saw these books in the bookstore because I had them printed on campus. It sold for $2.40. It was $2 for the book and then 40 cents for the bookstore. I got nothing. No, I didn't have royalty. Okay. Maybe someone might like it. And it turns out, to make a long story short, boom, it became a big bestseller. It was written only for my students. And it was a delight to teach, and I had no idea that it would be a commercial thing. And once it came out, I says, oh boy, wait till the professionals see what I've done. I'm going to be wiped off the map. And lo and behold, I came to realize I'm the professional. My God. And I went through 13 editions for 50 years. I couldn't believe it. I just made it so simple to make it so that they could understand it. And it turned out to be an enormous blessing. And it was a fluke. I did not write it to be published. I wrote it for myself and my students. And whew, that's called the biggest good luck story in the physics community. Luck.
No. Passion. Is there any question or
No sé
comment?
cómo formularla en inglés.
You people feel okay asking your students to talk in class? That's a no-no a lot of times. You be quiet and listen to me. Are you okay asking your students to check their neighbors and check with each other? You got to ask a short question, greater than, equal to, or less, so it doesn't take too much time. And you're guiding them through, and they're talking about it, they're thinking about it. They're not having just to remember something they read. Are you okay with that? My audience right here in Mexico City, tell me. I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to, I'm going to do all the talking, thank you.
Voy a hacer una pregunta y me ayudas, María Elena, con la traducción.
Sí.
¿Qué es mejor? ¿Enseñar pocos temas, pero bien comprendidos? ¿O cubrir todo el programa, muchos temas, sin importar si están bien comprendidos o no?
Okay, I will try to translate this question to you, Paul. Which is better, to teach less as concepts, but well understand, or to try to cover all the list of things that you have to cover on a semester course?
Well, you know my bent. I'm into concepts because I didn't get any concepts. When I went from a master's degree, and I had to be where all the people get in the room and ask a question to see if you're going to pass or not. I was in heaven. And when I didn't know an answer to a question, I said, I don't know the answer to that. Ask me another one. Because I knew enough about the regular physics that I knew I would pass. So I don't know how I started talking about that. But what was the question again?
To teach less but good, or
yeah. Okay. Here's my advice. Here's my advice to any new teacher. Get a topic that you are passionate about and teach that. Never mind the rest. Teach that and do it well. And if you try to cover everything, I do try to cover a lot. But if you do that, it's going the depth of your plow is going to have to be very shallow. If you're going to stay with one idea, you can go a little deeper, you know. So how difficult the course is not the subject matter, it's how deep the plow setting that the teacher decides will be for, making a grade. Your people are taking the course to earn a grade. They want a grade. How is it achieved? Well, that's where you go. But teach what you like best. And what you don't like, don't teach it. Because there's only 16 weeks or so. Do you have 16-week semesters?
16 weeks for a semester, yes.
All right. Look, I'm out of grad school. I've been 6 years learning physics. 6 years, physics. I come to City College and I got 16 weeks. I got to take everything that I've learned in 6 years and cram it into 16 weeks. That's the task. So in your 16 weeks, don't try to cover what's in the encyclopedia. All the knowledge is out there. You've just got to take some pieces and make people feel good about learning that knowledge. People, some people want to learn all the time. That's wonderful. They won't need you. But there's another people who haven't discovered the joy of learning. That's a lot of people. And you, as a physics teacher, can nurture that. And at the end of the course, they like learning things. They like being more of themselves because they know more. Not to memorize more. That's wasted. No, that they comprehend it and they understand it. Wow, I feel it. Give them that. And if there's some parts of the physics you're not very good at it, don't teach it. Let someone else do it.
Okay.
Be what do you say? Personal. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
¿No hay nada en YouTube, José Luis? No.
No, nada.
So, is there question or comment?
Let me interrupt. Some
Okay.
of you people afterwards will say, oh, darn, I wish I had asked him this or that. Okay? This is human nature. My email is pghewitt@aol.com. Be my pen pal. So if you have questions you forget now, ask me on email. I answer all my mail. I'm retired. I've been out of the classroom too long, and I like talking about this stuff. So be my pen pal. I'm inviting you. Because right now, there's things that you should be asking me, and you'll think about it too late. You know why? You're human.
Thank you very much. So I think this is it, or el correo de Paul Hewitt ya lo escribió José Luis en el chat. So,
Lo comparto más
ahí-
adelante en la transmisión de YouTube.
Okay. Well, I think this is it. Thank you very much, Paul, for connecting to us today. José
Let me
Luis,
tell
do you
you,
want to say?
today has been a very, very good day for me. I'm retired. I don't go in the classroom. I don't go to see people. I have had a ball today. So thank you for inviting me to talk about what I love to talk about most. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for
Invite me
on this.
again. Invite me again.
You can be sure of that. And maybe if you
Okay.
can travel, we can invite you to Mexico, to Guadalajara.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ay, no sé qué hacer, José Luis, para acabar esto. Tú tienes el control, ¿verdad?
Yo
Bueno,
tengo el control acá.
bueno, pues muchas gracias y la siguiente charla es...
La próxima semana tenemos una. Tenemos una
Bueno.
la próxima semana.
Ok, eso no me lo sabía.
Sí. Fue rapidito. Bueno, nos despedimos de acá de los que están viéndonos por YouTube. Les agradezco también su presencia. We would like to thank Paul and many thanks.
And please thank your wife too, Paul. She's been really great, helpful.
Okay.
Cierro
Bien.
transmisión.
Okay, thank you very much. See you next
Bye-bye.
week and next month. Bye.